أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. O my Lord, expand for me my chest, ease for me my task, and remove the impediment from my speech so they may understand what I say. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Radio Ramadan on 87.7 FM. I believe we are also live on DAB Station 9. It's the fourth week of Ramadan now. My name's Aasiya. I'm Aasiya Parekh. I'm here to present a show called Your Hospital's A Place to Pray. I'd like to start by reminding you of the text and WhatsApp number. So we are taking your comments, your questions, any interactions today, and the number for that is 077 488 55055. That's 077 488 55055. If you'd like to call in the second half of the show, it's 0116 4822 I believe we are also live on Facebook and YouTube today, and you can leave your comments, you can leave your messages in the comments on Facebook and in the live chat on YouTube. Please get in touch with us if you'd like to. We would like to get some messages coming in, especially for the second half of the show. I do have a guest with me here today who I'll introduce in a second. He's not with me here in the studio, but we do have a connection over Zoom, inshallah. Jazakallah to everyone who's tuned in to the previous shows over the previous years and over the last 3 weeks. I'll be here every Thursday between 1 and 2 for the month of Ramadan, so there's one more left next week, and the show is always going to be Your Hospital's A Place to Pray for 2023. Today I have Maulana Dawood Bhula with me. Maulana Dawood is a hospital chaplain. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Maulana, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah.
Amazing. Maulana, would you be able to introduce yourself with a little bit of background, so what you do and how long you've done it for the listeners, please?
Okay. I'm Maulana Dawood, like Aasiya has mentioned. I'm the Muslim chaplain for the hospitals in Leicester. That's the Leicester General Hospital, Leicester Royal, and the Glenfield Hospital. I've been doing this for just over 20 years now.
MashaAllah.
And I'm a local person. I was born in Leicester, in Highfields, live in Highfields still. And I started my hifz in Masjid Noor.
Wow.
And then I went abroad to Karachi to finish my study hifz and my further studies alim course as well.
MashaAllah.
And I came back. I taught for a little while in Majlis Dawood al-Haq, but because of the hospital work taking over, being on call, I had to leave that part as well.
Yeah. So you say you've been with the hospitals for 20 years now, is that right?
Yeah, just over 20 years.
Over 20 years, mashallah. Maulana Dawood, would you be able to, for the listeners, I'll go into what I do after your section for this show is finished, Maulana, because I know you're not here with us for very long today. But would you be able to share a little bit about what a day in the life of a hospital chaplain looks like? Well, I know there's not an average day, because Gadar was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he explained very well that no 2 days are the same. But in your experience, what does an average day look like? Is there an average day?
There is not average day. What Katasha was right. We could be just doing a normal day one day, but other day could be difficult. I mean, I can give example one evening, I think I was on call from 4 o'clock till 10 o'clock. I was going down in about 3 hospitals at the same time, one after another.
Wow.
These things happen. End of life cares. People don't know, other sort of emergencies do happen within the hospital.
Yeah.
It's been different. I mean, our main thing is to go visit. My main call is to go visit Muslim, and I'd only mostly the male patients, because we got a female chaplain as well, and that has always been the case from the day one when we started. That we always had 2 separate chaplains.
Has it always been a male and a female chaplain?
Yes, it's always been from day one. Yes,
that's good. Alhamdulillah.
Because of the segregation we have in Islam and things, and when it's emergency, because our female chaplain, she's not on call, I do attend to the female chaplains, but only in emergency care.
Yeah.
But we'll go to the patients. We'll have a list of patients who sort of are on our list. We'll see who's been in hospital for the longest, because I only work 13 hours over the week, covering 3 sites. So it's very, and Rukaya, my sort of colleague, she only works 1 day. That's only 7 hours.
Right.
And she covers 3 sites as well.
Did you, sorry, Maulana, did you say 13 hours or 30?
13.
13, 1-3. Okay.
Yeah. I'm covering 3 sites as well. So it is a bit of a hassle, a bit of a sort of a thing running around.
It can be difficult, yeah.
It is difficult. So our normal will go into the hospital on a day we are prescribed to go in, go see or get the list of the patients and see which ones would need to be seen, which are long-term patients would not be seen, or some that are in emergency care, like if they're in ICU or things, we'll go prioritize it according to that.
Yeah.
And each patient can take 2 minutes, or some patients, especially elderly patients, would want you to sit there, talk to them. It could be about Dean, it could be just about something else. We let them lead the sort of talk. We don't go there and sort of put anything to preach on them. We let them do the talking. But I think they're very happy about seeing us around.
Yeah.
Well, first, we need to introduce ourselves, because a lot of people, I mean, when we started, and I don't know if you know, when we started, the Muslim, the Hindu, and the Sikh chaplains were appointed at the same time.
Okay.
20 years ago. And but when my female colleague and even the Hindu chaplain, when they used to go see patients, they thought we were here from the local masjids or local mosque or the local temple asking for a donation.
Right.
So it was the new concept when we started, and we're sort of we're trying to introduce ourselves. Now, alhamdulillah, people know what we are, and we've been utilized quite a lot. And over the past few years, especially COVID, we were used quite a lot because we were the only ones that were allowed to go see patients.
Yeah.
Where even family were not allowed, and we were being called out I was being called out quite often.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, most of my time or overtime were going just in visiting patients.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've got literature. I mean, the thing that we really found useful during the COVID time was the Quran queue.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
That is being used quite a lot in the hospital. And we got a lot of donated from, there was a charge that was donating quite a lot. I would say we had he donated we had over 100 donated from that one hospital Quran tube charity.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And a lot of patients found it very useful, like I said, especially during COVID, when they weren't allowed anyone to visit them, and the nurses and the staff on the hospital were brilliant. They kept them sort of charged. They kept them on all the time, so the patient always had to listen to Quran.
Yeah,
which was a brilliant. It's always brilliant concept for the hospital. I think the Quran was.
It is the advances in technology that have made life slightly easier, right? Because we always hear the negatives of technology, but this is a positive difference that is made.
It was a very positive. And after that, after we had the Quran queue, I think the Hindu, the Sikhs, and the Christians have taken out other sort of like they've got the Bible queue, and the Hindus have got
okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has been. We have sort of led the way in that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Alhamdulillah.
And we've led a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you use the prayer facilities daily, Maulana Dawood, at the Leicester Royal Infirmary. Can you describe to the listeners what the facilities are currently like? Would you be able to paint a bit of a picture about what they look like at the moment?
I think they're very good at what we had before.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been there for 20 years. And when I started, we had a very small room for the male, and the female, I don't know if people would know, there was a corridor. They had a small space in there, curtained out. Right. It was terrible. It was not fit for purpose. And then when the new accident emergency plan came up, and they needed to do the chapel, and they gave us all this space, and they made us separate rooms for the Muslim male, separate they looked at our sort of needs, female. Yeah. There was a separate room for the Hindu and the Sikh where they could put their statues, and there was an interim chapel. I would say the chapel was only an interim chapel made because their promise was to give them a new one further down the line, which what you're working on at the moment.
We are, yeah.
And we had sort of we made it to our purpose, what it was, and alhamdulillah, it works really nice. It's very busy, I would say.
Yeah.
You will always go into the into the prayer rooms. There'll always be someone there.
Yeah. I've been in and you do see that there's people there all the time. I would say
that the utilization of the prayer rooms, I won't be lying, that it's mostly done by the Muslim staff. and patients as well, patients' family, but mostly by the Muslim staff. And it's being used 24, all 3 sites are being used constantly. I mean, at the moment, we're doing Tarawih prayers at Leicester Grenfell Hospital, and we get staff coming in and out of the prayers. We're leading it, but we just know the staff know it's happening. So because of their schedule.
Is that just at the Glenfield, Maulana, or does that happen at the Royal as well?
At the General, only at the General.
Only at the
We
General.
used to have it at the Royal before COVID.
Yeah.
But that's sort of slipped away at the moment. So we might need to get that started as well.
Yeah, inshallah. It's the biggest site, isn't it? The Royal is.
It is, yes.
The 3, so that would be good. Can you describe Jummah Salah at the Royal Infirmary?
Yeah, I would. Jummah Salah has grown tremendously. When I started in 2000, we used to have that small room. We used to have 7-8 people come for Jummah Salah. Now we have about 200 people coming. We have 3 Friday prayers. And it's all done by volunteers, organized by them. I have very less sort of input in it. I only have a bit of input in it. I don't do anything because I lead my Friday prayers at Glenfield, so I'm not even there at the time.
Yeah.
So they're all volunteers. We've got a Muslim liaison committee that looks into all of this. They do it themselves. They sort of organize it. They're on a group chat, WhatsApp. They sort of have a timetable who's going to volunteer to help put it out, set it up. Sort of because of the timings, we have and we use the main prayer room, the male prayer room, and we use the interim chapel as well, has the overflow, and it gets full. All 3 prayers, I would say the first 2 are completely full, and the third one is half full as well.
Yeah. So there's three Jamaats that happen.
There's 3 Jamaats, yeah.
On the day of Jummah.
And we have to do it very short time because staff have very short lunch breaks.
Yeah, and they've got to rush back to patients and that kind of thing, right? Clinics and surgeries and all of that's going on. As you can imagine, it's a place of medical care, so the patient safety is always of the utmost importance.
Yeah, and the majority, I would say 90 to 95% of the people in the Friday prayers are staff.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this, in COVID time, we just did this, I just asked, and we have, at that time, about 3 years ago, we got 1,400 Muslim staff at Leicester Royal Hospitals.
Wow, that's incredible. Is
that
across all 3 sites, or is that
across all 3? That's across all 3 sites, but that's about 3 years old data we're looking at.
Yeah, so it must be more now, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
1,400 like I said, Muslim faith staff.
When I started 2000, like I said, we only have 7-8 people doing Jummah prayers at Leicester Royal.
So it's a big
when
big
I started
difference.
at Glenfield as well, in 2001, we started Friday prayers. We used to have 4 or 5, and now over there we have over 100 people as well.
Mashallah.
Yeah, it has grown.
Yeah, that's incredible. So the Spiritual Care Centre then, Maulana Dawood, you know that the charity is fundraising to refurbish the space and reconfigure it slightly, fit in a multi-purpose room where the current chapel sits, have a corridor, new St. Luke's Chapel, that kind of thing. In my opinion, it makes a difference that people's faith is reflected in visuals as well as the space that they're in. What do you feel about it, and how do you think their connection with their faith while in the hospital will be improved through this new facility that we've designed up and is inshallah gonna be part of the works over the next few years?
Yeah, I think it's quite important, not just for the staff, even for patients, even patients' family, because I've been called out a lot of times, end of life care, and a lot of family, because in our community, when something like that happens, a lot of people go in to visit, and they've utilized the prayer room as a place where they can sit and start reading Quran for the patient. And it has to be, I think it is the drawings we have seen. It's quite nice. I mean, it will sort of feel welcome, but I did say to Qatar, where the Qibla is, we just need a bit of an arch and keep it a bit simple, but then on the side walls, make it more things, because you don't want the decorations of the architects to sort of disturb your prayers.
Of course, yeah. It's very.
And that's why you need to be sort of on a middle level thing, so where we can't be so extravagant and it is like, and at the moment it's like that as well. I mean, we just need the right facilities there, which are there at the moment as well. And I think this new prayer, I mean, I have been involved in it because when Mark left, and between Qatar coming out, me and Hillary were the 2 people that were sort of leading it from the chaplaincy at that time. So yeah, I've been involved. I think it'll be a good thing. And like I said, we need to make sure we build it in something that is going to be a long-term thing, because you're not going to have these projects come up every now and then.
Of course, yeah.
And like I said, the numbers are growing, and we'll have to look at it in a way that if the numbers grow, how are we going to manage it? Because hospitals with space are always a difficult things to get any space anywhere in hospital.
That's true, yeah.
So we'll have
space
to manage,
is very limited, unfortunately.
And the way we make it would have to be for the next 20 years, taking into account the growth of the Muslim patients and staff. Yeah,
I agree. Jazakallah for your insight there, Maulana. I'm acutely aware that you need to leave at this point. It's now 1:20, but Jazakallah for joining me today. And inshallah, I'll see you around the Spiritual Care Centre before and after the refurbishment of it.
And just one thing I want to mention, I think Qatar might have mentioned it, but on the 4th of May, at the Leicester Royal Hospital, in the prayer rooms, we have got the Eid celebrations there.
Yes, he did mention, yeah.
So it's from 11 to 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that is nice. We're doing it after a long time. After COVID is the first time we're doing it.
That's amazing. I'll get all of the information for the Eid celebration, and inshallah, give it out on, I assume it's open to all. I'll give it out on my show next week.
Yeah, and that again, I would sort of go back and say it's the Muslim Liaison Committee volunteers that are leading it with our help. Okay, we're doing it as a joint venture.
That's amazing. I'll be sure to get all of the details from either yourself or from Gurdar for next week, and you can get all of the details for the Eid celebration at the Leicester Royal on my show between 1 and 2 p.m. next week, Thursday, inshallah. Jazakallah Maulana for your time. And inshallah, speak to you soon.
Okay, jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. We've had a message come in. So that was Maulana Dawood Bhula, who is the Muslim chaplain of the 3 hospitals in Leicester, the Leicester Royal Infirmary, the Leicester Glenfield Hospital, and the Leicester Royal. I'll share your messages in a second, but to begin with, I'd like to remind you of the text and WhatsApp numbers. It's 077 488 55055. This second half of the show is me waffling a little bit, if you like. I don't have a guest for the rest of the show, but I am here to answer your questions about the Spiritual Care Centre, or about anything for that matter. If you want to send in a message about the other work that the charity does, if you want to ask me anything specific, if you want to know anything about my life or how I got into fundraising, how I got into working for healthcare and charity, then please do send a message on 077 488 55055. The phone number, if you'd like to call up and talk to me, is 0116 4822 086. As I say, I am by myself, so if anybody wants to call up and have a conversation over the phone, it's 0116 4822 086. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube, so please leave your comments on Facebook and your messages in the chat on YouTube. Get in touch with me however you'd like to. We have had one message, so it's Salam's a really insightful show today into the change that the prayer facilities has gone through over the 20 odd years that Maulana has been there. Jazakallah for sharing. I think that's from Anonymous. Yasir's put it on a notepad for me, so I'm not sure who that's from, but Jazakallah for sending a message. It is really insightful, and it's really interesting how things have changed over the 20 years that Maulana Dawood has been with the Leicester Royal with UHL, with the trust. I particularly find it interesting how he mentioned that there's 1,400, data 3 years ago revealed that there's 1,400 staff who identify with the Muslim faith in the hospitals, who work for Leicester's hospitals. It's an incredible number. I mean, they're a big employer in the city anyway. We employ about 17,000 people, and of the data collected, it's 1,400 people who identify with the Muslim faith that work for the hospitals. that's at least 1,400 people that are going to benefit from having a very specific prayer facility, a facility for salah, for wudu, for whatever needs to happen in that space, any dua that's made in that space. That's 1,400 people almost secured, if you like, to give you reward. And the reason why I talk about reward is we're currently fundraising at Leicester Hospital's charity for the Spiritual Care Centre. It is one of our bigger projects. It's a big appeal at the moment that we're going out with, and we need to raise £2 million to make it happen. The plans and the drawings and the concepts and the designs have all been drawn up, but we can't do anything until we've got the money. We are about 25% of the way there at the moment, so we've got around £500,000 raised for the time being for this project. And Ramadan FM is supporting us this year with raising money for this particular project. So the appeal includes the refurbishment of the current spaces to reflect each faith better. It includes creating a multi-purpose space, or multi-faith or multi-purpose room is what it's going to be called, and that will have an immersive video wall within it. It will be used for things like movie nights for children whose parents have been in the hospital for a while, or their siblings have been in the hospital for a while. It'll be used for activities. It'll be used to transport patients and their families to create new memories who are maybe experiencing end-of-life care. So if you imagine you wanted to visit a particular beach in the world for the very last time, but because of your terminal diagnosis of cancer, you're unable to visit that beach, you'd be able to go to the multi-purpose space at Leicester's Royal Infirmary and sit there with your family on that very beach that's projected onto the wall, onto this immersive video wall, which is essentially a really huge LED screen. So there's that kind of stuff that we're thinking about, and what technology can we bring in to make that experience better for people. There's going to be a new St. Luke's Chapel, which is going to be built in the heart of the Leicester Royal Infirmary as well. So the space that currently occupies the chapel is going to be turned into the multi-faith space, multi-purpose room, and the chapel is going to be still on the grounds of the Leicester Royal Infirmary, just not where it is at the moment. So that's going to be a purpose-built, brand new facility. The Muslim prayer rooms are going to be completely refurbished. There's some amazing concepts and amazing pictures that are available in brochure form. If you'd like the brochure and you'd like to read a little bit more about the appeal, and you'd like to find out how you can support us in raising the funds towards it, then please do pop by the studio. I've kept brochures here, and if you'd like a emailed copy, then please email me on aasiya.parekh, asiya.parekh at uhl-tr.nhs.uk, and I'll be more than happy to send you an email or postal copy of the brochure. I'm struggling with messages today, so please do send them in. 077 488 55055. Otherwise, it's going to be a very long 21 minutes with me just sitting here talking by myself. I'd rather be answering your questions. I'd rather be finding out what you want to know about and talk about that instead. So, Leicester Hospital's charity, who are we and what do we do? The charity is the official charity for the three hospital sites in Leicester, so the Leicester Royal Infirmary, the Leicester Glenfield Hospital and the Leicester General Hospital. We support all departments within all three hospitals with anything and everything that they might need. The charity buys small stuff as little as toasters and kettles for staff rooms or for patient kitchens, and we fund massive pieces of equipment like a surgery robot that we've recently funded. The Leicester Children's Hospital appeal is one that you might remember from a couple of years ago, where we raised £7.5 million to create the first standalone children's hospital in the East Midlands. Qatar has sent a message in. Thank you. Lovely listening into your show, Aasiya. A huge appreciation to Maulana Dawood for all that he contributes to serving patients, staff and relatives alongside Sister Ruqayya and Imam Faz. Thank you to Ramadan Radio for giving this opportunity to share about our work and plans. We've had, thank you, Gurdar, for sending that message in. That's really lovely. And thank you for coming on the radio with me a couple of weeks ago and sharing your experience with us as well. I had many an amazing comments for Gurdar for when he came on. People really like the sound of his voice, it seems. So we'll have to get him on again, inshallah. Another message: sounds like a very worthwhile and exciting project. What will the Muslim rooms look like? Are they open to everyone? Thank you for your message. That it doesn't say who that's from, but yes, they'll be open to everyone. The Muslim prayer rooms are really amazing in the concept. So like I say, please pick up a brochure. I'll try and describe them as best as I can. I'm not the most descriptive, but I'll give it a go. So the Muslim prayer rooms at the moment have got blank walls, kind of dull, a little bit tired looking, worn down carpet, if I'm allowed to say, and a bit of storage facilities for things like musallas, burqas, kitabs and books, the Quran, that kind of thing. And the new rooms are going to be completely transformed, whereby they've got mosaic tiles and they've got sort of Islamic geometric patterns, amazing patterns, but not distracting patterns, if that makes sense. So it wouldn't distract you from the purpose of you being in the prayer rooms, being to pray. They wouldn't distract you at all. But there's beautiful archways and geometric designs that go within that, with a sunrise and a sunset theme across both prayer rooms. So the male prayer room will have a sunrise theme across the archway, which is a vinyl print onto the wall. And the female prayer room would have a sunset theme projected into the archway, again, a vinyl print with mosaic tiles and lovely refurbished carpet, brand new carpet that's going to be put into the refurbished rooms. Small things like a Qibla pointer for you to go in and know exactly where the Qibla is, and not have to guess whether it's one way or the other way, or get your phone out and have to faff about with trying to find a compass. They are really beautiful. They've got sort of hues of blues and pinks and purples, and yeah, they're just really, really stunning. So if you want to see more pictures, then please do head over to our website, www.lhcharity.org.uk, and click the link click the drop down and search for Spiritual Care Centre, and you'll be able to see all of the concept images and the appeal for that on there, as well as some stories from people who we've spoken to. The Spiritual Care Centre has had a huge impact on their lives. We've had another couple of messages come in. How important do you think the spiritual care space will be to support people who are struggling with their mental health? Incredibly important. So it's currently a space that supports people with their mental health. It supports staff, it supports patients, it supports patients' families, it supports anyone and everyone who has any dealings with the hospital. It supports them all. The chaplaincy service is open, I believe it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As you heard Maulana Dawood say earlier, that chaplains are always on call. It could be for an emergency that happens where somebody's experiencing end of life, unfortunately, and a chaplain is called to remain by their bedside at request, or families have asked for certain prayers that need to happen, and it is a service that happens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week across all 3 sites of Leicester's hospitals. More so than that, the mental health impact of being in hospital for a long time. Imagine having a diagnosis whereby you're in for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. That can take a huge toll on your mental health, and the service and the facility will be there to support that. All of the chaplains are very, very good at supporting our staff and our patients with any issues of their mental health that they may have. This new facility will encourage that even more. It'll encourage more open discussions. It'll encourage more sort of group settings whereby mental health can be discussed, and particular issues and forums can can be set up, particular groups and certain, mental health circles can be set up as part of this as part of these new plans that we've got. And I know Gurdar is really looking forward to a time where he's able to put all of these things into action. So the sooner we can raise that money, the sooner that can happen. I know that the multi-purpose space is going to be a haven for mental health, with all sorts of different activities like yoga, like crafts and arts and that kind of thing going on in there. Spaces to create memories and spaces for that holistic care approach to be taken. Hospitals are, of course, medical institutions, and the clinical care will never stop. It'll always be there, and it'll always form the first and the foremost part of healing. But it is important that mental health and well-being is looked after at the same time. I will answer the fundraising question first, and then I'll go into how I got into fundraising, which is another question. So somebody's asked, how much do you need to raise and how do people help? Is there ways to give or to fundraise? Yes, to all of it. So we need to raise £2 million at a total. Ramadan FM is pledged to raise £10,000 over the course of this month to help with this project. There are ways to give, and I should have told you about them sooner, so I apologise for that. But there's two ways that you can give to Ramadan Radio's appeal this year, or their support of the Spiritual Care Centre appeal this year. So to give a donation, please visit www.justgiving.com/page/Ramadan Radio 2023. You can support the £10,000 fundraising appeal with a donation via this link. And you can also fundraise either on behalf of Ramadan FM or on behalf of Leicester Hospital's charity. We're quite happy with either. We don't mind which way you do it. To join Team Ramadan FM and fundraise for the Spiritual Care Centre, like the lovely Aisha Sidat and her sister Safia are doing, please do check them out on Instagram if you haven't already, and do support their fundraising. I believe Aisha's Instagram handle is IIAMAISH. I might have got that wrong, but it's Aisha Sidat who you want to be looking for. She's a real advocate for the charity, and she does quite a bit of work for supporting Muslims with disabilities, or all people with disabilities across the city, county and country. To join Ramadan FM and fundraise for this project yourself, so you could pledge to raise a few £1,000s and do an exercise challenge or a walking challenge, or you could jump out of a plane, or you could abseil down the Windsor building, or you could do all sorts of different things. And to do that, you would go to www.justgiving.com/team/Ramadan Radio 2023. So if you just want to make a donation, it's justgiving.com/page/Ramadan Radio 2023. And if you want to set up your own fundraiser as part of Team Ramadan FM, then it's justgiving.com/team/Ramadan Radio 2023. Aisha Sidat, that's right, Aasiya. Okay, Jazakallah. I don't know who put that up, or if it was a message that was sent, but thank you for that. Somebody had asked how I got into fundraising. Yasser, would you be able to get that message up for me again, please? I didn't quite get that one, so I can read it out. So while we wait for Yasser to get that back up on the screen for me, I'll give you a little bit of insight of the charity. I was mentioning that we fundraise for all sorts of various different things, and one of the ways that I got involved with the charity was as a community fundraiser. So I started off fundraising for the Leicester Children's Hospital appeal back in 2020. Yes, 2020. I was approached by the previous head of fundraising, Gareth, at the time it was, for the charity when I was in hospital with my now late little boy, Yahya. Not that one, Yasser. It was another one that said, how did you get into fundraising? It had the word UHL in it. Sorry, I'm just trying to get that message back up. Aisha Sidat's messaged in. That's right. My Instagram is I am Aish. So it's at IIAMAISH. Thank you, Aisha. And Jazakallah for listening. She's always supporting. There it is. Salams. How did you get into fundraising / working for UHL? Okay, so I was just about to get into that anyway. So we'll lead on that. The Leicester Children's Hospital appeal was a project that I got involved with back in 2020. When my little boy was in the hospital, we were approached by the charity to come and sort of join this massive campaign to build a standalone facility for children from across the East Midlands. It became apparent that the East Midlands was the only region without a children's hospital or standalone children's hospital in the country. And that's how we kind of got involved with fundraising. So unfortunately, my 2-year-old boy Yahya passed in Ramadan of 2020. It was May the 12th, and it was the 19th of Ramadan at the time. And we'd already had some plans to fundraise for this particular project, but as the news broke and kind of spread a little bit like wildfire of Yahya's passing, the charity and the radio pledged to raise £25,000 to fund a room on the ward where Yahya used to be, which was moving over from the Leicester Glenfield to the Leicester Royal, which formed part of phase 1 of that children's hospital. Phase 2 is still in the works and won't be completed for a good few years yet, but I'll be sure to let you know when we start fundraising for phase 2. Once news of Yahya, make salam. To whom?
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, walaikum salam. Sorry, I didn't realise we've got a call. Who am I speaking to?
Fine. It's Asma here. How are you, Aasiya?
Asma, alhamdulillah, I'm well. Jazakallah, how are you?
Okay, alhamdulillah, not too bad.
I literally just had Yasser type make salam, and I'm like, why? To who?
And I didn't know when to come in, so yes.
Oh, Jazakallah for calling. I'm so pleased. This is my first call ever on air. Can you believe it? I'm really excited.
Yeah.
What would you like to ask, Asma?
Well, no, I'm just wanted to promote this spiritual care centre, really, Aasiya, because as obviously with a family, like yourself, you were just mentioning how with Yahya, how it has been your time at the hospital and using the multi-faith prayer rooms. We've talked about this in the past, but I find that as the years have gone on, we've been using the 3 hospitals for over 25 years now. We use the prayer room more and more because we're spending more time at the hospitals now, in terms of hospital stays, outpatient appointments that run through salah times as well. So and it's not just that, and I feel that it's obviously it's a multi-faith prayer room, so it's not just for us to use for our salah. It's a space for everybody else, to come there as well. So it's just so important to raise this awareness and to get this, funds coming in, because obviously it's going to be needed. The money is going to be needed, to create this space for everybody. Not just of all faiths, and it's not just as a prayer room. It's actually going to be a place where anybody can just come in for some quiet time, whilst they're in hospital as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Asma. It's such an important part of the healing process and the journey for the family as well, right? As well as the patient that's there. And I know, like me, you guys have used those facilities more times than you'd probably like to. But that's why they're there, aren't they?
Of course. And every time we've been at the hospital, even when it's just for an outpatient appointment, we've gone into the multi-faith room, and everybody's just always accommodating. So there'll be people of other faiths in there, and we've actually connected with people through the multi-faith room as well. I remember one Ramadan, Aisha was in the whole of Ramadan, and having my husband and I used to take it in turns to go down and do our salah, and I came across some wonderful people in there, who I connected with, and still to date, we've become friends, so it's a place of connection as well.
Yeah. 100% is a place of connection, and I think Gurdar and the other chaplains at the hospitals would be able to testify to that quite heavily. Similar for us, there's only very few people that can understand, even in your position, what it feels like to be you, and the same was true for us. And I think when you're in the hospital, there's very few people that understand what it feels like to be in there week in, week out, with sometimes very long stays, with sometimes very negative prognoses, and it all kind of comes crashing down at one point, and that's the time when you need that space more than anything else, really. I mean, I agree with you, and I urge everyone to go and support Aisha's fundraising. It's an incredible thing that she's doing, and she's just such an incredible girl anyway, isn't she? And she does some fantastic work.
Yeah, even when she's reached her target, I know her page will remain open. So people keep donating to Leicester charities as well as Aisha's page. To anybody else who opens a Just Giving page, just keep giving, because every penny's going to count. And we're not asking for huge amounts from any donor. No. Even small amounts, whatever people can afford.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's the pounds that make the hundreds, and the hundreds that make the thousands, and the thousands that eventually make the millions, don't they? So all of it will help, and everybody will have a share in, every part of that spiritual care centre, which is beautiful, because it's going to be there for years and years to come. And that's Sadaqah Jariyah for all of us, isn't it? It's somewhere where, imagine if because of you, a doctor's been able to go into that prayer room to read salah and make dua, and then has gone on to save a life. You have essentially saved that life, haven't you, through that Sadaqah Jariyah. So it's an incredible project, and it's amazing to talk to you again, Asma. I've not heard your voice for a year, actually. You were on my 4th show last year, weren't you?
Yes,
and I've not spoken to you for a while, so it's a really nice treat. Jazakallah for phoning.
No, and keep doing what you're doing best, Aasiya, and wish you all the best in raising the funds, and you're doing an amazing job. Your whole team is.
Jazakallah. I'll tell them that'll make their day.
Yeah, look after yourself, and nice to see you as well.
Yeah, you too. So give my salams to Aisha and Safiya and the rest, and inshallah see you soon.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. That was Asma Sidat, who is the lovely Aisha Sidat's mum. She rang in and spoke to me about the Spiritual Care Centre appeal and how amazing it is. I know who this message is from. Your job sounds amazing. Are there any jobs at the charity? I know for a fact that that's Demelza. Demelza is shamelessly plugging that there are jobs at the charity at the moment. So if you'd like to come and work with me and the team, then please do get in touch with either me or Demelza at the charity. Cam, who forms part of the team that I work on, is currently recruiting for an events assistant. That role is live, I believe, until next week. They are all on the charity's social medias, especially on the charity's LinkedIn. So if you go onto LinkedIn and search Leicester Hospitals Charity, you'll be able to find the links on there. I don't have the direct link to hand, but if Demelza wants to text in the link, that'd be great. Demelza is our head of philanthropy, and she is currently recruiting for a individual giving officer who our individual giving officer leaves us tomorrow, unfortunately. Her name's Liz, and she's done a fantastic job so far she writes all of our appeals, and she's just incredible, but she's leaving to do something bigger and better, and we wish her all the best. Tomorrow's her last day, so we've got a bit of a lunch for her in the office, which rudely I can't have anything from because I'll be fasting, but I just wanted to rub it into the team there that they didn't think about poor little me before they organised the lunch. Liz, you really should have thought about the impact that it would have on me when you chose the day that you were going to leave. I wish it was like a week later so I could have partook in the celebrations, but it's okay. I'll forgive you eventually, I'm sure. Okay, so we are about a minute from the close of the show, and I want to remind you all about the Just Giving link again. The Spiritual Care Centre is the appeal for this year for Ramadan Radio's fundraising, and the way to donate is justgiving.com/page/Ramadan Radio 2023. And if you'd like to fundraise with Ramadan FM for this particular project and form part of Team Ramadan FM, then it's justgiving.com/team/Ramadan Radio 2023. So the only difference between the two is the middle word. To donate, it's page in the middle, and to join the team and fundraise for Ramadan FM, it's the word team. We have 20 seconds to go now. And I'd just like to say that it's been a pleasure presenting again on the radio, and I'm looking forward to being back next week with one more show and hopefully one more guest for this year. I hope Ramadan's been amazing, and I will speak to you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.